Hi guys, I'm Heath Manning of manningcues. This video I'm going to be talking about part 2 of kick shots on the half table. I'm going to show you how using the diamonds to determine your tip location works when your cue ball is not on the line that your object ball is, like in part 1. So part 1, we had our object ball and we had our cue ball relatively on the same line. In this video, we're not going to be on the same line. We're going to be a diamond ahead, say, like as shown right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to first determine the natural and how to do that. And then we're going to get into shooting a shot with spin and how to calculate your tip location. So for the first shot, we're going to find the natural. For the natural shot, we have to find our starting point. We have to find our zero. To find your zero, it's a little different than in part 1. Part 1, this would be our zero. But this is our temporary zero right now, because that's the line that the cue ball is on, straight across the table. So in order to find your zero, what you're going to do is just like in part 1, you're going to count 1, 2, 3 diamonds away from my object ball. On the short rail, we're going to go 1, 2, 3 diamonds. So we now know that that's our contact point if this was our starting point. But this isn't our starting point because our cue ball is not underneath the cue. So we have to parallel shift. So we're going to parallel shift over. We're going to leave the cue on the same angle until it gets right over the center of the cue ball. That's going to do two things. That's going to give us our new zero, right here where I'm putting the chalk underneath, and that's going to give us a contact point over here on the rail. So there's our contact point. So the cue ball is on a spot, which is right on the table, so there won't be any variance on the shots today. It's going to be exactly where it's placed. So what we're going to do is we're going to shoot this shot because we've now found our zero, we found our contact spot, and what that is that's the natural shot with no spin. So what we're going to do is we're going to shoot that shot, and we're going to pocket that ball. Now understand that your tip location on the cue ball has to be center, and it has to be just above center. You want only forward momentum on your cue ball, no sides, no bottom. Table condition, the tip you use, there are many different elements that change how a shot plays out, but this system works and will get you in the vicinity to make your shot, if not make it most times. You might have to make minor adjustments for the equipment you're playing on or using. So now what we're going to do is we're going to shoot this first shot. No spin, just above center. Okay, we made our hit, and we knew that because we did the parallel shift and we found our new zero. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to put up a treble ball. When we put up a treble ball, we now no longer, because our starting location hasn't changed, okay, we now no longer have the natural shot. Your zero is no longer your zero because the natural is gone. So again, you figure it out the same way. You start off with this is your zero, right? You always start off with where the cue ball is. 1, 2, 3 diamonds away. We already know where that chalk is basically the 1.5 diamonds ahead. Okay. Less the parallel shift that we did. That's why the chalk is at the quarter mark and not at the half, because the cue ball's out from the rail, so we had to parallel shift over. So we already know that this is the natural shot if the cue ball was starting at your zero right here. It's not. So we parallel shifted, we found out the natural. Now, if the natural is not available, right, say you have to come back to the quarter before this diamond. Well, that's coming back a half a diamond from the natural shot. Okay, so if you come back a half a diamond on the short rail, that's 1 diamond on the long rail. So if that's our contact point right there, let's move our 0 over now underneath the butt. So if this is our 0, we're very close to, we're basically between the half and the quarter mark of a long diamond. Okay, we're basically right in the middle. So if that is our starting point, that's our 0 right across the table. Just to make it easier, let's just call it a quarter. Okay, that's our 0, but we're a quarter before the first diamond. So if we're a quarter before the first diamond, and we know where our contact point is, right here, we know that we are 1 diamond away, because we're also a quarter before this diamond over here. So we're getting 1 distance of travel going that way. So we're going to get 1 diamond of distance coming back. So in actuality, if this is your starting point 0, and you're going to get to here going to that rail, you're going to get another diamond coming back. So this is where the cue ball should come if I hit that right there at the quarter mark. So I'll shoot that now, and it should honestly just come right back and go right towards that chalk with no spin. Okay, coming right back at the chalk. Okay, so that was the contact point. We knew that because we measured that out. Now, back again on the same spot. Contact point here is going to remain the same because you have to be away from the 11, which is the object ball blocking our natural shot. So if this is the natural, you are basically a quarter and 1 diamond away from your object ball. So you need to hit right there with 1 1/4 tips of right English to make that shot. Here's our natural with no spin. That's exactly where it's going to come as I just shown you. So if that's our natural, to right here, we are a quarter to the first diamond, past the natural, and then 1 more diamond. So 1 1/4 diamonds is 1 1/4 tips. So let's shoot that for you now. And it makes the hit. Okay? That might be confusing the first time you look at the video, but let's do it again. Okay? We're going to measure it out the same way again. Okay? When you're at the pool hall and you're playing, you know, if you're doing this type of stuff, people might look at you weird and go, "What are you doing?" or this or that. They did that to me, but when I started making those shots, they started coming to me and saying, "How are you doing that? What are you doing?" So it might look a little awkward off the start, but it won't look very awkward when you're winning your games making those shots. So let's measure it out one more time. 1 diamond away from the rail. Okay? So here we are. Here's our 0. You always start off with where your 0 is. 1, 2, 3 diamonds away. 1, 2, 3 diamonds is your natural from here. Cue ball is not on the angle underneath your cue, so we parallel shift over. Okay, there's our contact point. That gives us our new 0 and gives us our contact point on the rail for a natural shot. Now, that's aiming right at the quarter diamond, right? Here's a diamond here. That's aiming at a quarter diamond. So if we come back a quarter to that diamond, and then we come back another quarter, we've actually come back a half. So here's our half. Now, based on finding where you're going to hit, you put your Q-tip on the rail through your cue ball, and now you can adjust your 0 back here. With absolutely no spin, you can now measure where your cue ball is going to go because you found the line. With no spin, okay, remember this is your new 0. I'm a quarter away from the first diamond. And then I am 1, 2, 3 diamonds away from my object ball. So I am 3¼ diamonds away. Now, we know this is the line that it's going to go in on, so we want to find the natural line that it's going to come back on. Okay? If this is 0, and we shoot and hit here, we're basically, this is a quarter from this diamond, so we're getting a quarter, and then we're getting 3/4 up to our contact point. So we're getting 1 diamond of travel across the table. This in turn is going to give you 1 diamond in travel back across the table, which will bring you to here. So now we know, with no spin at all, the natural shot is going to bring you right here. So now you can measure how much spin you need on your cue ball. You've got your contact point and you've got your natural. Your natural line with no spin, cue ball comes here. So we are, from your contact point on this rail closest to you, we are 1/4 diamond away from this and a full diamond away from the object ball. We are 1¼ tips away. So now you know, aiming right here with 1¼ tips will sink that shot. And let's shoot that now. Makes the shot. Now you can see that you don't have to hit hard, you just have to hit controlled. You have to have your tip location where you want it. But you can use that shot on any of these shots. And if you've got another ball in your way, right, you're going to figure it out the same way. Now if you come back another half diamond, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to figure out where your natural goes, where your natural is going to end up. So if you come back a half diamond on that rail, that's a full diamond on this rail. So now you're going to come here. And now you are 1, 2, 2¼ away from your destination. So you can measure it out and it gets quicker as you practice it. But I know right now that I'm going to be 2¼ tips away from making that shot from here, hitting right here. But that's because I've practiced. So I know that I need 2¼ tips right there to make that shot. You'll get there and it'll just come to you. But again, table conditions, you go to a pool hall and you play a shot off the rails could be dead. The balls could be out of shape. The felt could be in poor condition. Everything is going to change how that cue ball reacts. Even your own equipment, your tip will hit differently. But if you're used to your tip and you play with it and you know it and you practice this, you'll get it. And it really does work. If you have any other requests for videos, or if you need any billiard equipment or repairs, manningcues can help you with that. And often manningcues can get you a better deal on your cue, even than what you see online. Go to my website that's shown on the bottom of the screen, and send me a link on YouTube if you'd like to see any other videos. My name's Heath Manning of Manningcues. I hope that was helpful, guys. Thank you.